Hmm.
All right, y'all, get ready for another edition of News and Trends with your hosts, Dave and Lynn.
Talk to him low. How could I possibly be inconspicuous? With my flow is fucking ridiculous. That's why an accent. See, I'm from the South.
Welcome to News and Trends with Dave and Lynn. This is one of your hosts, Mr. David Coker, proprietor of Dave Mark Inc., promoter, event planner, and all-around good guy. Hanging out with my partner, Mr. Leonard Young. What's going on, sir?
Hey Dave, everything is good. This is Leonard Young, CEO of National Black Guide, DelawareBlack.com, Black media specialist, and all-around good guy. How goes it, Dave?
I can't complain, man. I can't complain. I was sitting here bopping my head to my one of my favorite songs. It's always good when you get to hear that song, and it's a Tuesday. And actually, today the weather's not too bad. It's not too hot, not too cold. It's actually comfortable. Even though there's a little humidity in the air, but not as bad as it's been. You know what I mean?
Yeah, now Dave, what song were you talking about?
Our opening, man. Our intro.
The same one you hear every Tuesday?
Yeah, I know, but that's inspiring because what it does, gets the juices flowing, gets you ready
Oh,
for
okay.
the
All
show.
right.
It's a head bopper, that type of thing, man.
Okay.
That's what it is. Everybody always comments about the song. They say, "Oh, I love the intro because it's one of my favorite songs." So that's what people say.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not mad. I'm not hating.
Okay. Okay, you're not hating. Okay. All right.
Nope.
There you go. How's everything with you? Anything exciting over the weekend?
Nowadays, you know what? Same old, same old. I'm trying to think of anything. Oh well, my son did have his summer league swimming championships, and he finished second place for 13, 14 boys in two events, the 50 free and the 50 fly. So that was kind of exciting. And other than that, Dave, to be honest, it was a low key weekend. You know,
Oh, okay.
not,
That's good.
not a lot
So,
going on. What go ahead.
wait, hold on. Let me ask. Is Quincy really serious about swimming? Is he trying to do what his dad did and go to school on a scholarship, a swimming scholarship?
He says he's serious. His times, so he's poised to be a better swimmer than I was compared to his swimming crowd. So, I mean, he definitely has potential. Now, he doesn't have the competitiveness that I had,
Mm.
have, have still, but he definitely has the skill. And I mean, I will say he's a beast, you know?
Okay. All right. All right. Well, he definitely has that swimmer body and everything. He's long and lean. So uh, never know, man. Man, might be looking at an Olympic trial possibility.
Yeah, who knows what's that 2028 LA?
Yeah, there you go.
And
There you
and Dave, it's funny you said it because I'm gonna try to go to the 2028 Olympics because, you know,
go.
hometown.
Okay, so Leonard said he's paying for tickets to go to the Olympics in 2028. Y'all hear that? All right, there you go. All right, so
Dave,
all
your translation is immaculate.
right. Hey, what can I say? That's that AI translation there.
All
You don't
right,
know
all
nothing
right.
about that, man. Yeah, so
No, I don't.
hey, okay. Oh, speaking of exciting things to happen, man, what about the whole big Microsoft breach, man, over the weekend? Well, starting on Friday.
Yeah.
Did that affect you in any kind of way, or?
No, Dave, to be honest, I heard about it and I don't think it really affected me, and I just kind of kept on about my day. What about
So
you?
no, it didn't. Wait, so it didn't affect anything down at the campground or anything, or
No,
computer wise?
no, not really.
Man, it was a nightmare for us, man. Friday, getting to work and the computer, most people got blue screens. I mean, I I can get into everything. Well, I had heard something before I left the house talking
Mm-hmm.
about people stranded at the airport, but I wasn't.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't locked in.
I did hear about that.
I did hear that before I left the house, but I wasn't locked into why. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got to work, then people were talking, and then I saw all the computers were down, and that's when I started focusing in on some things. And now, thank God for me, I was one of the very few people who could get on everything, even my email and all of that stuff. I can do all of that stuff. The only thing I couldn't do was to work on our main system, which is our, that's the system we distribute and help people with benefits and stuff like that. And so we couldn't get on that system at all because it's an internet-based system. So,
right.
And that didn't come up to like quarter to one for me. But some people, it was only like 8 or 9 of us that computer came up that day. Everybody else was down. Then
Dave, let me ask you a question, and you can be honest if you want to, or not honest. When you go to work and the system's down, are you really trying to get the system up, or are you just trying to
to be honest
make it
with
to
you,
the day and go home?
It's a good day when it's down, because let me tell you, we get in and we start hearing things about people being sent home. DMV closed.
Right. I did hear about that.
Yeah, the court system closed. Some other parts of the state went home early. Tim worked for the state now. Tim's department, I think, left early that day, because they couldn't get on anything. Mm-hmm. Now, we were there all day, but like I said, I did get on around quarter to one. Not everybody did.
Right.
And then, so we're going to get paid regardless of whether they send us home or not. So so we rather sit there and run our mouths. But then we were ready to go home that day. We were hoping they sent us, because we were making plans. Everybody was going to go to breakfast. That's what we were planning to do. Everybody was picking because as soon as we heard DMV close, everybody was picking where we were going.
Right.
So, but Saturday we were supposed to work and get there, and everything was down. I had to end up going somewhere else to work. It was, we had to go other places to work to be able to get on the system, and it was a mess, man. But go in yesterday, it was like nothing ever happened. The system was fine yesterday. So,
gotcha. Okay.
But I do wonder though what kind of effect that had on electric cars, if any.
Right.
Those, real hybrid, those high fancy cars that work on electric everything. Mm-hmm. I wonder how much of whether it affected any of the stuff that they do, So that's curious, because that also will kind of let people know, if there's a major crisis, because we don't know what that was. They still haven't really explained to us what happened.
So I saw something.
If that was something.
Yeah, I saw something, and I don't know if it was a skit, and it might have been because I kind of skipped over it, but it said that they caught the person who was responsible, but to be honest, I did not listen to it, so I don't know if it might have been a skit or if that was the real case.
So they were saying it was a cyber attack, right?
So my apologies, I did not listen to it. I just saw a headline, so I didn't really look at it.
Yeah, because if you think about it, if it affected things worldwide, somebody did something. You know what I mean? I can't imagine it being that big without somebody doing something to cause it to happen.
Right. And especially since we never, besides what I saw on social media, we haven't really got no updates regarding it, have we?
No, nobody's really said anything. That's why I said I believe there's more to the story than they choose to let them. We'll put it that way. So, because I guess they don't want copycats or those types of things to happen. So, but something we'll hear about. I'm sure as the days go by, we'll hear about what really happened. So
Maybe.
yeah, yeah, we'll see. All right. Well, speaking about events, things that happen, man. Whew, there's been a few things going on, huh? So let's start with the biggest thing that happened. We kind of touched on it a little bit last week, but I wanted to bring it back up again because of what's happened since this happened, which is the attempted assassination on former President Donald Trump's life. Quotation marks around that.
Right.
So a lot has been said, a lot has been done talking about this. We've seen Trump at the convention with his little patch on his ear, but the day before he was playing golf with no patch on his ear. Did you hear about that? Did you see the video?
I actually saw that.
Yeah. Then people up there saying, he had it on the wrong ear at one point.
Wait, so he got mixed up?
Yeah, he got mixed up on what ear it was supposed to be on. And then you go to the convention and everybody's wearing patches to support him and all of this kind of stuff. I'm just like, they're making a mockery of this. He never really, ever since it happened, has talked much about the family that lost someone.
Right.
The fireman that died. And, matter of fact, I heard that, she wouldn't take a call from Biden because she's a staunch Republican.
Mm-hmm.
But then she said that Trump never called.
I know. Ain't that crazy?
Yeah, that's crazy, right? So, there's so many conspiracy theories around this. And now you hear that the guy who was the head of the Secret Service stepped down.
No. Yeah, I did hear that today.
Yeah. And there's just so many things that when you look at this thing closely, there's so many questions about what really went on. That's what doesn't make it look real. I mean, when you go back in history and you look at different assassination attempts, you think about the Kennedy assassination. You think about the attempt, the assassination of Martin Luther King and so forth. When you look at this, the shooters were in places that they were not seen. Okay. And apparently in a lot of the assassination attempts, there were backup shooters as well. So for this young kid to be up on that roof in plain sight for everybody to see.
And seen by multiple people.
Seen by multiple people way before he started shooting. Okay. Why didn't they do something about that?
Right.
Or why were there nobody around him as soon as it was said there's a shooter on the roof? Why wasn't anybody on stage to protect him? Okay. I just believe, and I've heard a bunch of people, of course, a lot of people will say it's just hate, but I've heard a bunch of people say that there was definitely seems like a definite scheme, and they were under some type of, people were comparing it to a football play and how football play unfolds. The quarterback gets the ball, turns around, he pitches it to the running back. The line is going in one particular direction to block for that particular person, and the running back is waiting for the line to hit their block so they can go through the line. You can almost see everything unfold in that type of play. People are comparing this to that type of thing because they are watching almost everything unfold like it was some type of play or some type of movie. with bad acting because Trump was horrible. You know, and of course it all goes back to the crowd behind him. Nobody seemed to be worried about getting shot back there.
Right.
You know, if you look at the crowd's reaction, they're just standing there or just gawking at what you know, whatever, and you know, it's just makes no sense what went on. I know I was listening to Dr. Umar. He talked about the assassination attempt,
Mm-hmm.
and he said he definitely says that it was staged. He said the only unfortunate thing is that somebody bungled what was supposed to happen because somebody died, and that wasn't supposed to be a part of this.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. And you know, and a lot of people have said that the boy was sacrificed, you know, but I heard something very interesting yesterday. They said, well, do we know for sure the kids did?
I don't know. They probably have to look at that video again.
Yeah. I mean, do we know for sure that kid actually died? And you know, because I never saw pictures of him shot or anything, right?
No.
Okay. All they said is that he was killed, right? And
Yeah.
they gave his name.
That is
He
his
could
name,
be living
picture.
under a new. He could be living under a new name somewhere else right now.
Right.
So, yeah, it's just a lot going on there. So the after effects. Well, of course, Trump goes to the convention. He's Mr. Popular now. He's the man. Got all this sympathy votes coming in, and the number one candidate. And they said there's no way that this guy could be beat now. Keep in mind, he's still 34 time. He still has 34 charges against him, and he's a felon. But he can't be beat.
A damn shame.
Only in America, right? What's your thoughts on what happened? What's your thoughts on what's happened after the assassination attempt?
Are we talking about moving on to Kamala or just after the assassination?
No. Just as far as Trump is concerned right now.
So, one thing you said, you mentioned the lady who was she husband to the person who was coming, wife to the person?
Right.
So I'm not surprised she did not answer a call from Biden. That does not surprise me. But I am very surprised that President Trump would not have called her or anybody from his administration just to express condolences. Because, you know, I mean, that was one of his supporters, apparently. So, I mean, that surprises me. You know,
which also adds to the whole conspiracy theory. But go ahead.
Yeah. And then, I don't know. I mean, other than that, I just feel like, you know, the only thing that throws off my conspiracy theory is that someone actually, you know, was killed, an innocent person, or so to be innocent. But other than that, I mean, it just doesn't add up. You know, from the very beginning, I thought it was fake. And, you know, now I will say, for the people who are standing behind him on stage, I can understand when you're in a crowd and you hear a noise and you don't know what it is, you know, people being a little slow to react. I forget how slow they may have or may not have been, but I'm sure because you know Dave, I'm not Dave.
If there was a crowd of us, we would have been. Wait, no.
I get it. Hold on. You gotta let me finish.
Okay,
So I know you've been in places where something happened and everyone's like, "What's that? What's that noise?" Now, granted, you may be ducking and leaned over a little bit.
I can do a 9-9 and gunshots happen.
Yeah.
You know, I can do it. You know, so I just didn't think that the whole thing just made a lot of sense to me. That more people didn't get up out of their seats or go down on the ground.
Yeah.
Because that didn't happen either. So not as many as it should. A few of them did duck a little bit, but not many of them seemed to be concerned. Now, of course, they said they thought it was fireworks, but of course it
Right.
was daytime. So I don't know. The whole thing. I just feel that something's going to come out at some point. Um, something else that happened. I had to think about. Did you see in the convention when Giuliani walked into the convention and fell down?
No, I did not see that.
Yeah, man, it was so embarrassing. Giuliani was a great mayor of New York. He really was. He was responsible for pulling. New York had gotten itself financially in a lot of trouble and whatever, and he was the one responsible for pulling them out. And he did a great job as mayor of New York. To see this guy and how far he has fallen, unreal. And he walked into the place and somehow tipped over and went completely down. I mean, it was crazy. And it took like 3 or 4 of them guys to pick him up because he was on the ground like flailing a little bit. So yeah, it wasn't a good look at all. It really wasn't. And you hear the announcer say, "Wow, how far this guy has fallen."
Well, Dave, so would you say he fell from grace?
Yeah. Well, that came up. Somebody said that, by the way.
Oh, did
somebody did say that. Yeah, somebody did say that.
Okay.
Yeah. So, well, he definitely fell from New York. So, but anyway, but we had that to happen, which led to the next big ball to drop. We knew last week, and I think we kind of discussed it a little bit, that, President Biden was away because he had COVID and he went away. And the next thing we hear over the weekend, that he steps down from the race. He wasn't going to seek another term. Boy, did that just send everything into a frenzy. Of course, if you're a Republican and you're a Trump supporter, you're probably smiling and laughing and saying, "Okay, we definitely got it now. He's done. We already knew he was done, but he's definitely done now." But on the Democratic side, they had to go into action and put Plan B together. Now, you and I discussed this recently. I told you what I thought the Democrats were doing, was just trying to get Biden to the finish line.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, he got reelected, and then he was going to step down and let Kamala take over. That's what I thought, because I don't think he could have did another 4 years. I just don't see it. But now, it looks like things kind of changed. Well, things definitely changed, and the plan got pushed up. So now here we are. We have Kamala seeking the Democratic nomination, which I heard today that she has enough votes to become that candidate now.
Yep, I did hear that too.
Right after he announced he was stepping down and that Kamala was going to be replacing him, within 24 hours, she raised $50 million. That was crazy. Okay. Now, you imagine all the people that are probably going to vote for her. You got the Divine Nine probably behind her, I'm sure.
Yeah. The HBCUs.
You got all the HBCUs more likely behind her.
Black women. A lot of them.
Yeah. You got she's probably going to get a lot of the LBGTA, all of, the letter. She's going to get all of them. So she'll get to 100 black men. There was a big call yesterday with Roland Martin. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, the black win with black men.
Yeah, and they raised over a couple $1 million last night on the call. Okay, so I mean, she's going to get the support, but will it be enough to beat him? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I mean, two things I'll say. These Democrats lied to us
Okay.
They kept
Go
telling
ahead.
us, they kept telling us Biden was in great condition. He's healthy. He's um he's better than ever. They say they ain't lied to us.
Uh,
Exactly what I thought.
they
Exactly what
did.
I
They didn't tell us the truth, and of course, when the debate came around, it definitely didn't show what they said it did.
right.
You know, he
But
didn't look sharp. He didn't look strong. He didn't.
no, he
None
didn't.
of that. You know.
But besides that, one thing that I was glad to see, and to be honest, I was actually surprised once Biden stepped down and he endorsed Kamala, the energy in the Democratic Party skyrocketed. It was almost like excitement, you know, and
Well,
all that excitement.
it's been rumored that they've been wanting him, to step down anyway.
Yeah,
So maybe
yeah.
that's what that was.
So, like now, Dave, like before, when a lot of people were like, "Oh, I'm not voting for Biden or Trump," like, worse of two evils and they're both old. Now there's almost like new energy. And in my mind, I was trying to think to myself, which one would have been more probable? Biden getting to the finish line and then stepping down for Kamala, or Biden stepping down now and then Kamala running. So two things I thought about that, right? Um, One is I don't know if Biden could have got to the finish line. Like I just don't know because I felt like every week, it was just looking worse and worse. Two is I'm glad that Biden stepped down and endorsed Kamala, and now she has a lot of energy, a lot of support, a lot of momentum, and that I heard today Trump said he'd be happy to debate Kamala as many times as they wanted to. So I think this allows Kamala to prove herself before getting into the president's office, because I can already see if Biden got into office and stepped down to Kamala, people would be doubting if she could have gotten the votes on her own, and they would have been doubting her competency. So I think right now, for her to beat him face to face, I think that gives her a lot more legitimacy, and it kind of shuts up a lot of people on the other side because they can't say, she was a diversity hire. You know what I mean? Like Biden got in and then dropped out,
I know
and then she
they were
appeared.
talking about that today, that she was a DEI plant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, can she beat him in a debate?
Dave, she was a prosecutor. I am sure she can.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. And that definitely is the key. Is if they do debate, she definitely has to look good. She has to answer the questions that are being asked in the way that we need to hear them answered, and they need to hear them answered, as opposed to what happened in the first debate. So,
Hmm.
um, who do you think she's going to pick as her running mate?
I don't know. I heard the governor of Maryland said, "I'm not the one." So it will not be Wes Moore. I keep hearing, and Dave, I can't lie, behind the big names, I don't follow everyone else. I heard the name of Buttigieg.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know you're talking about
Um,
Buttigieg.
yeah. So of the ones options, like I think I heard someone talk about three, four options. That's the only name I've recognized. So to be honest, I don't know.
Well, Shapiro came up too, who's the governor of
Hmm.
PA. I I think Shapiro is one of these guys who either you love him or you hate him. He's one of those kind of
Right.
guys. Like he's loved in PA outside of Philadelphia.
Hmm.
That type of thing. So um, he does, because he is the governor of a big state. That does help, and that make up a lot of different types of towns and diversity. Um, that is a plus for somebody to be in that position. there were some people who wanted, we know this would never happen, but wanted Cory Booker to be
Mm,
on that ticket with her. But we know that ain't going to happen,
right.
because that would just be, that'd be just,
Too
uh,
black. It'd be too black.
yeah,
Too militant.
look, we had to go back. There was an old song done years ago by Boosie's Rubber Band called Chocolate City. It was about Washington, D.C. And it was about how, everything down there was black, including the president. And,
Hmm.
and this is back in the 70s when this
Right.
song came out. It would definitely be Chocolate City if them two got in office. So, I just hope that whoever runs with her is somebody that's going to work with her and not someone that's going to undermine her to try to get to the next level.
Right.
Because that's important, because right now we need the Democrats to really be on the same page and bond together to be able to make this happen. And we need to make sure that they're equally yoked as far as the people that, her running mate and so forth, to be able to make sure that the people come out and vote. We don't need a bunch of individuals voting. We need groups of people that come out that
Right.
are all for the same cause, for the same victory, not a bunch of, scragglers coming in saying, oh, I'm going to vote for her and so forth. We need them to come out in droves. We need them to come out with a purpose. And we need them to understand what's really going on, So, um, so, so that happened. I'm going to move into this next thing. So I was listening to, I brought up Dr. Umar Johnson earlier. For a lot of those people that don't know who he is, he's, a public speaker. He's an activist. He's, very intelligent guy, but, he's definitely has a militant type way about him. But he speaks a lot of truth. Um, speaks a lot of truth, actually, if you listen to him.
Yeah.
So I was listening to this interview that he did on Power 99 this morning, and they talked about a number of different things. I found this to be a very interesting fact. Did you know, Leonard, there was 5 other presidents that was assassinated? But did you know there were 5 presidents that were assassinated?
I knew there were 2 or 3. I don't know if I knew there were 5. Oh, hold on.
I
Well,
know,
Abraham Lincoln, John F.
right?
Kennedy, um, and I probably recognize one more if you said it, but then that was about all I know.
Yeah, and it's funny because I even forgotten that there was as many as 5. But you were right. It was, of course, the 2 obvious ones, Lincoln
Hmm.
and JFK. But Garfield was
Okay.
also assassinated. McKinley was also assassinated. Okay. And I was like, huh. Okay. I was like, wow, that's interesting. And there was 6 other presidents that there were assassination attempts.
Yeah. Now I remember the Reagan. I remember that clearly.
Oh, of course, yeah, that one you remember, right? But then there was Jackson. They attempted to assassinate Jackson. Both Roosevelt. I did not know that. Both of them had assassination attempts against them. Truman, Ford, and Reagan.
Hmm.
I had no idea it was that many.
Yep. And Dave, I don't know if you know, there was a statistic, and I don't know how many years or how many presidents, but it was something like every 40 years a president was assassinated.
I
And
didn't
for
know that.
some, yeah. So I can't remember who it was. I don't know if it was one of the Bushes, Clinton, Obama, but they thought one of those would be assassinated because like it fell on that,
I
whatever
think it was
that.
a Bush. I think it was Bush.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was Bush. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's interesting. And then he brought up another point. I had to go check on that. It's not a coincidence that the assassinations happen when they happen, because most of these attempts and most of the assassinations either happen on a Friday or Saturday night. When you go back in history, and I looked, and he said, yeah, they happen on the weekends. Why? Because that's when a lot of the people are not around because they go home. A lot
Well,
of
hold on,
security.
explain that. They
They were
go
talking
home.
about the Secret Service. He was saying,
Oh, okay.
yeah, and
Got it.
things are a little more lax. And so people have a little more access to the presidents during certain times during that time. And he was saying that, and when you go to look, there were a couple that were assassinated. I think one was on a Monday and one was on a Wednesday, but everybody else was either on Friday or Saturday. And they said that when you look at the history of the shootings, it wasn't just one shooter in most of the cases. It was more than one shooter that was involved. There was a backup shooter involved. He said in this Trump assassination attempt, why they just have the one guy out there trying to kill Trump?
Mm-hmm.
And how come he missed?
Right.
Because I don't believe he was trying to kill him. That's what he said. So I just thought that was interesting. I was like, wow, okay, that's deep. So that was one of the things he talked about. And he was saying that one of the reasons that they did it, the Trump assassination attempt, was to try to increase votes, to get the empathy and sympathy votes, and to make him become even more of a viable candidate than ever before, which they've done. His
Right.
popularity is way up right now.
Well, no,
When it was waning.
I saw a poll that said the assassination did not change his popularity.
I just read something that said that it was way up. Yeah. So, and they thought that because they said the numbers shifted. Well, that was when Biden was still running. Now, of course, the numbers have changed again with Kamala in there.
Right.
So, but if Biden was still in the race, Biden wasn't going to beat him.
No, I don't think
He
so.
wasn't going to beat him.
And
No.
I think the best thing for him was, I almost feel like it's you're at the Super Bowl and your starting quarterback is giving up play after play after play, and then they bring in the second string who's kind of a star, and they make like 4 or 5 big plays, and now you're like, forget the first string, like we riding with the second string.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
Dave, you like my football analogy? I'm just saying.
Yeah. I hear you. Anyway, I'm going to keep going. Let's see. He also talked about in his interview. If you get a chance, man, play it back and listen to it. He said a lot in this interview, but he said that he felt that Harris has a good chance to win, but everybody had to band together.
Mm-hmm.
That it has to be a collective it had to be a group type thing for everybody to make it work. And so he said that people go to the polls and they go to the polls with knowing why they're going there and do it in a way that everybody is doing the same thing. He said because there's no other country, there's no other place in the world that will allow a guy who has 34 convictions to run to be the free leader of their country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and so we definitely need to make sure they're not going to stop him from running, which they should have did. So he has to be beat, and that's what she has to do, and we have to help her beat him.
I
So,
definitely agree. And Dave, I will
uh,
say
go ahead.
if Kamala wins in November, I'm definitely going to be planning a bus trip to that election in DC. I mean the
Okay.
inauguration.
All right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
then it's like Dave, in our lifetime, and I feel sorry for all our elders who are not here. We got to see a black president and a black female president.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. We covered we covered the gamut there. We had a black male and we had a black female when they said it would never happen. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
um so we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Um One other thing he talked about in the interview, and we talked about this a couple different times, and I just thought it was an interesting take that he had on this. He talks about black men who are very successful and how when you see them, whether it's in the sports arena, whether it's in entertainment or um, you know any type of celebrity, these black men that are very successful always seem to have you know either a white woman as their mate or somebody of another origin. Let's put it that way, or
Right.
ethnicity, I should say, not a black woman. Now
Hmm.
there are some guys that do have black women, but when you look around, and especially a lot of the younger guys these days, and I think they said the demographic was the 25 to 40-year-old range. A lot of them are dating or marrying white women, and he talked about how you know because they tend to be very supportive, especially on their rise up to being the man, and they they also um, are very giving, and they also help them with a lot of their decision makings and all of that stuff. And I was listening to him say this, but he said what black men don't realize is that if something happens in that marriage where it leads to divorce, they are taking everything, and they have their lawyers on speed dial waiting for it to happen, and you're gonna have to pay them. They said, look at Michael Jordan, look at um, Scottie Pippen, there's Eddie Murphy, um, um, they talk about how these people have to pay these women because these women are going to take everything they can.
Right.
Whereas even though even if if you marry a black woman and you become successful and so forth, that they said the black women may not always agree, may also be harder to deal with. Now this is him talking. This is not me talking. He doesn't mind.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. So Dave, you're saying black women are harder to deal with. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what they're saying. Don't try to cross me up. I ain't saying that. I've only dealt with black women in my life, so I can't say that. Um, so, but you know, but when they divorce, when there's a divorce or whatever, a lot of times the black women don't get as much as the white woman does. You know, um, for whatever reason, maybe you know the guys have already figured out how to keep them from getting it or whatever. I just thought it was interesting what he was saying because if you look around, I mean, am I wrong? When you look around and you go to look who the person mate is anymore, a lot of times they don't look like us, do they?
Yep, that is true.
Yeah, they don't look like us. So I just thought it was an interesting view that he put out there on those type of relationships. he got a lot deeper, but I'm not going to go there. Y'all need to
Right.
listen to the interview. But I just thought it was, he said some good things today on that interview. And for those of you that never heard him speak, I suggest you go out there and take a listen to some of his stuff. Now, you may not agree with a lot of his stuff because he does come hard. He does. But there's a lot of times that he's spitting some knowledge as well. I will say that. So, all right. You have anything to add there? Because I know you listen to him.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, a majority of the stuff he says I like, and then the other stuff I think is funny. Because
he does make you laugh at times.
Yeah. I mean, he does make you laugh, and yeah, I mean the whole black white thing. I mean, I kind of see it, but I mean, I kind of don't. But that's neither here nor there.
I'm laughing for a reason, but I'm not going to say why.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Anyway, all right. So, I came across a story. Going to switch channels right now. We got the Olympics coming up, folks. Leonard and I are big Olympic geeks, and so this is like one of our favorite times of the year when the Olympics come around. And you already heard Leonard saying that he's thinking about going out to the LA Olympics in 28. So it's going to be some must-see TV because there's a lot of new people that look like that they are going to have a shot to win some medals or whatever, or make a name for themselves. They don't necessarily have to win, but they're going to be like, you might see somebody finish in fourth place or fifth place, but they're coming, that type of thing. Right. So we got the Olympics. The opening of the Olympics is this Friday, and of course, Leonard's big on the swimming. I watch the swimming too. Don't get me wrong, but both of us are big on the track and field. We both like track and field, and I did see that Gabby Thomas race. Wow.
I know. She came from behind.
Look, woo, yeah, that was crazy because I'd never seen her behind like that before. Have you? No, she's always out front.
Yeah. Which
that
in a way
she put on in that burst she put on in that last 10 meters was crazy.
Yeah, which is a little scary because I mean, let them girls run about 10 meters faster. She ain't not gonna be able to come back like that.
Well, the one girl who was leading all the way up until she caught her, when after the race, you could see her walking around like, what happened?
Right.
I was like, yeah, that girl ran you down. That's what happened, But yeah, so I'm telling you guys, on track and field, man, it's going to be some stories, some drama going on the track and field when it gets started, So just pay attention. So I came across this article about how fast can a human possibly run the 100-meter dash. Now, over the years, we've been blessed to see some of the fastest runners in the world, both men and women, but especially on the men's side, because you figure if you're running under 10.0, you're moving pretty fast.
Right.
But I was looking at this chart that had the fastest times ever in the world. Okay. Now, in taking a look at this, I was really surprised some of the names that was on this list and how fast they were running. Let me see.
So Dave, well, hold on, backing up just for a second. Who is the world record holder in the 100 meter? Is that Bolt?
Oh, without a question.
Okay.
Yeah, that was at 9.58. That was done in August 2009.
Damn, that long ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
2009. But what I didn't know is he also ran a 9.63. I forgot all about that. And
Who,
that was
Bolt or somebody else?
Yeah, 2012, he ran a 9.63. That was what, 5 years later? I mean, 4 years later? 3 years later. 3 years later in London, he ran 9.63. Then he also ran the third fastest time, 9.69.
Damn.
I know. That's all you can say. That's all you can say is that, because we're looking at guys running now who, I think the fastest time I've seen was a couple of years ago when Tyson Gay ran at 9.77.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, what you call Noel Lyles, who's supposedly the fastest man in the world right now, his best time is 9.81.
Yeah, I mean they're
a
little
but
off.
He thinks he can run a 9.65. He says he's going to try to run a 9.65. So those are the top fastest times of all time. What I didn't know is that Tyson Gay and Johann Blake both ran a 9.69 before too.
Okay.
One ran it in 2009. Tyson Gay ran it in 2009, but I think it was wind aided. And Johann Blake ran it in 2012. And then Gay came back in 2009, the same year, and ran a 9.71. So, and then Bolt ran a 9.72. I remember that race. That was in New York. I remember that. And that's when he didn't even run all the way through the tape. He just kind of slowed up. I mean, he really slowed up in that race, because nobody was near him. And he just kind of walked across the line. It was crazy. So, and he ran a 9.71, So when you look at this thing, like this story, it broke down how they come out the blocks. It broke down how they what their time is supposed to be in the first 10 meters and in the last 10 meters. I mean, it's crazy, the science on this. They showed a picture in this article where Bolt is out the block and everybody else is still in the block. I was like, no. And that's when he ran the 9.58. He was out the block and nobody else had come out the block yet, Leonard. I mean, that's how great of a start he got in that race, So the start, of course, is finished. The slowest time in this thing was 9.75. That's the slowest time. Gatlin ran that twice, and Blake ran that twice. So 9.75. We don't have anybody getting close to that yet.
Wow.
So this is, these guys they have out here now. Noah Lyles is fast, but do you see Lyles running that fast?
I don't know, because his time is a 9.8 something. I mean, he's Dave. I'll say any given Sunday. I mean, I wouldn't doubt if somebody could just bust out, but I mean, I feel like Noah. I feel like Noah. I don't know because I feel like Noah is still developing in the 100.
Yeah, he's 27 now.
Yeah.
Now, Bolt, even though Bolt was still winning races at 30 years old. I mean, don't get me wrong, he was. Yeah. So, the guy I think to watch, nobody's really doing a lot of talking about him, but a lot of people are watching him. That Carrion Knight, the young boy Knighton, which is his protege. Remember he was 17, 18 years old a couple of years ago when he ran in the Olympics.
No, but
came in like fourth or fifth.
But you remember he didn't qualify in the 100. He qualified in the 200.
In the 200, yeah, in the 200.
Oh,
he came in fourth or fifth. Yeah. But he qualified in both races this time, I think.
No.
Oh, he didn't qualify in the 100?
In fact, let me double check. I believe he qualified in the 200, not the 100.
He didn't qualify in the 100. Oh no, it was Kenny and Curly. that
Yep,
guy there.
yep, yeah,
Right.
Fred
Yeah, that's
Curley.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came in fourth. I think came in fourth that night. He came in fourth that race. Yeah.
Okay.
But in the 200, they predicted him. They said he's going to be a problem in the 200. They said
Uh-oh.
he might be Noah's biggest competition in the 200.
Gotcha.
So yeah. So I like the boy. I think
Yeah.
he's ready to bust out. He's been behind. He's been in Noah's shadow all this time. But I
Right.
think it's time for him. I think it's time for him to make some noise. So that on the women's side, of course, we got Shikari Richardson, but there's a couple new girls on the Jamaican side that's supposed to be hot, and so we don't know, of course, there's always the U.S. and the Jamaicans running against each other, so we'll have to see what happens. And we got Gabby in the 200. I don't see anybody beating Gabby. Not with that race we saw her run the other day.
Yeah, I mean, the race she ran at the trial, she killed it. The other day, Dave, she barely pulled that out. She barely got first.
She got out the block slow. Did you see how she got out the block?
No, I didn't.
That's what happened. She got out the block slow. She didn't get her usual start. And halfway through the race, she was way back there. I was like, how's she win it? How's she gonna win this? Of course, I already knew she won the race. I was like, how's she gonna win this? And then they got to that last 10 meters. I don't know what happened, Leonard.
Yeah.
But that after,
she turned on the jet.
She put them jets on and she took off. So she's gonna be interesting to watch. And I tell you, in that 400 meter, the hurdle, and also, I guess she's probably going to run the 400 too. McLaughlin, right? She's running both of those races.
No, she's not running the 400.
Oh, she's not.
Yeah, she said she wants to concentrate on the hurdles, the 400, which is crazy.
Wow. Well, I'm sure she's going to run the 400 relay.
Oh,
sure
maybe.
She's gonna run that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man.
But I don't know if you've seen it, and I know we're kind of getting off subject, but the Femke Bowl, one of the Europeans who runs the 400 hurdles, they both have like a 50-point time. So, of course, everyone's building that up to be a big Olympic battle on those 400 hurdles.
Yeah, but she just makes that girl, man. She's so focused, and when she's running, when she gets in the final, man, I haven't seen anybody get close to her. Yeah, so we got a lot to look forward to when the Olympics come around. Now, what's your thoughts on the swimming? Who are we looking at in the swimming? Of course, we already know Ledecky. All right, so we ain't got to talk about her. So.
Yeah, Dave, to be honest, I don't know. I don't know about the swimming, and I say, because this year I felt like it was a brand new group of Americans, a lot of them. So I can only go with the older people I know, but I don't see a lot of the international people like I used to see on my timeline all the time. But I will say Simone Manuel, she looks good. She finished first in the Olympic trials in maybe the 50 or 100 free. And
if you guys don't know who Simone Manuel is, you better look her up. You better Google her.
Yeah,
because she's no joke.
Yeah,
no joke.
She's had a great comeback year. I will say Caleb Dressel. He does 5,300 fly.
Yeah, right.
And,
I've seen.
And he's a former Olympian, and he's still at the top of his game. Katie Ledecky, she's one of the greatest of all time.
Fish in water, man. Fish in water. That's what she is, man.
And then there's a black guy, and he's out of Canada. He swims for University of Florida, but he's a Canadian national.
I think I know who you're talking about. He does a couple of races. He does a couple of races, right?
Yeah, his name is Josh Liendo.
So I saw it. Yeah, that's him. Yeah.
Yeah. He's definitely one to watch because he won the NCAA finals for the 100 butterfly, and I mean he's a beast. So I'm excited to see how he does, and then other than that, just looking for some great swims and
Hmm.
hopefully the American relays do well and kind of go from there.
Okay. All right. All right. I tell you, I also like to look at the gymnastics too, and I think the American female gymnastic team is going to be an interesting watch this year because everybody's going to have their eyes on Simone
Oh
and
yeah,
her bounce back from the last
yeah.
Olympic, and because she's been so dominating going into the Olympics, let's see how she does in the Olympics this time around, and the rest of the team. So that's going to be interesting too to see how the women do against the world. So I'm ready, man. I'm ready for it to get
Yeah,
started.
me
So
too. In fact, I was
yeah.
trying to look to see when the event. Oh, damn. It looks like track is towards the end because I see the women's 100 is August 3rd, men's 100 is August 1st. I was hoping some stuff would be more this weekend, but it looks like
No,
it
no,
ends
the
more
swimming,
next
because
week.
the swimming is all first, right? The swimming is first, right?
I think so. I'm trying to see. Okay.
Usually that's the way they usually do it. The women, I mean, the swimming goes, and then track and field. Is that what
Yeah.
you're checking out now? Are you
Yeah, I'm,
looking?
I'm just trying to see what the general schedule, kind of trying to see what's happening this weekend. Well, shit. I mean, shoot, tomorrow rugby.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, okay, here it is. The schedule. Oh, Dave, did you know some events actually start tomorrow?
What event? What the sword fighting, equestrian, those type of things?
No, it looks like soccer, rugby, and
Oh,
it
okay.
but it's probably because there's so many teams that have to play. They have to
Right.
start a little bit
Right.
earlier. Yeah, so it looks like
Yeah.
soccer and rugby actually start tomorrow, the 24th.
Okay. All right.
Handball, archery. Okay.
When are they doing breaking? Gotta watch the breaking.
Oh, all right. Well, here I'm going to scroll through as you're talking and see if I see.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see what. Yeah, because folks, if you're not aware of it, they added breakdancing to the Olympics this year, so that's going to be interesting. And apparently, they got a lot of people competing in this. So that's probably going to be interesting to watch. I wonder how much coverage they'll give it, though.
right.
Um, so we got breaking. And what was one of the other new sports they added?
With skateboarding, maybe.
No, they already had skateboarding, didn't they?
Okay. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Swimming starts Saturday.
Right. Okay. That's what I thought
Right.
this weekend. Swimming
Badminton
is
and
usually always up. Usually one of the first competitions they do. Yeah.
was handball, was that it or no?
I think that's new. I think that's new. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Handball.
I'm still scrolling through looking for breaking, but skateboarding, I see that.
Well, it must be.
Surfing, I see surfing. I don't know if that was.
No, that was already in there. I think. Yeah. Oh, was it? Maybe not. Oh well, they got it buried or something like
They got a lot of stuff. I don't even know what day I'm on.
it. Oh, okay.
They have mountain biking. I didn't know they had that.
Mountain bike. That's something you would do, right?
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Let me go.
How about I just Google what day breaking's on instead of trying to.
I know that's. I was going to say, why don't you just do it? Google Friday, August 9th. I found it. There you go.
Is that it?
The
Oh yeah,
women
yep.
is on.
Yeah, I see it.
The women is on. Yeah, they got the men and the women competing that day. So August 9th is when they're doing that.
Hmm.
Okay, I'll be interested in watching that just to see a little bit of that, just to see what happens.
Yeah, Dave, we
Yeah.
got to root on all the black people on there. If any,
It'll be a European. It'll be a European that probably win.
or Asian, One of them.
Asian, yeah, one of them, yeah. So yeah, one of BTS, cousins of somebody. So, but yeah, let's we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But folks, let's root on the Americans. Notice we didn't talk about basketball. Basketball. Well, the women, I watched the women. I mean, I will really be rooting for the women. The men, I don't know. They're looking kind of weak right now. I don't know what's going to happen. So, but they always seem to pull it together during the Olympics. So let's see what happens.
Right.
So, all right. So that brings us to our last thing, which is Leonard's favorite thing, Dave's Corner. And since we're on the Olympic theme, Leonard, I want you to give me your Mount Rushmore of all-time Olympians in your estimation. So, who's your 4 all-time greatest Olympians that you can think of?
Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. So one, I'm gonna have to go with the person Sports Illustrated said the number 1 Olympian in history ever, Michael Phelps.
Okay.
Then I'm going to have to go with the person we were just speaking about. Well, one of the people we were just speaking about, Usain Bolt.
Okay.
Then I'm going to have to go with the other person we were speaking about, Simone Biles.
Okay, well, you only get 4. That's Mount Rushmore. Only 4 people.
No, I thought 5 people.
No, see, there you go. You don't
It's
know
only
your,
the,
you don't know your
oh
history.
man, hold up.
It's
Let
only
me,
4 people. It's only 4 people on Mount Rushmore.
let me,
Check it to be sure.
yeah, let me just do my fact checking.
Okay. Yeah, you'll see.
Hold on, you're not counting that half face of the president on the right hand side in the back corner?
Don't even try it. Don't even try it.
Right.
It's only 4.
Okay. Well,
So,
in that case, oh my goodness.
so you gonna switch it up a little bit? Is that what you can read?
Well, I'm going to take Ledecky out.
Look. You can put
A
a
5th one, honorable mention.
you can put an alternate on there.
Okay. All right. So in that case, I'm going to have Bolt, Michael Phelps, Katie Ledecky, Simone Biles, and FloJo.
You went FloJo. Okay.
Yeah. Well, her record still stands.
Yeah, they do. They do.
And I'm like,
They do.
how many? Yeah, let me Google that real quick.
They still do.
Dave, 1988.
Yeah, then I told you they're trying to get this movie done about her. So, yeah, FloJo was the truth. She was. So, all right. Well, actually, we kind of agree on a couple of them. So, mine would be probably what I consider to be the greatest Olympian of all time, Mr. Jesse Owens.
Okay, you took it back.
What are you laughing about? What are you laughing about?
I mean, you took it back. I'm not mad. I'm just.
No, it's not necessarily that I took it back. It's what not only. I mean, of course, it happened during that time back in the '60s, whatever. But it's what he stood for and what it changed at that time.
Right.
Because keep in mind, we wasn't supposed to be there. We wasn't supposed to win. And then remember, Hitler wouldn't even shake his hand because he was so pissed.
Yeah.
My second one, I guess I would have to go with Michael Phelps because, after all, nobody did it better than him in the pool. So, my third, track and field again, Mr. Usain Bolt, greatest runner I ever seen run. Unbelievable. I wish he was still running right now because he was definitely must see TV. He definitely was.
Yeah, very entertaining. He was.
Yeah, very entertaining. Yeah. My fourth one is Mr. Carl Lewis.
Okay.
he was keep in mind, this guy he was a long jumper. He could high jump as well, but he didn't, but long jump, he was 200, 100. The guy ran in, 3 or 4 Olympics. So won a ton of medals. He was great. He really was. My alternate would be Jackie Joyner-Kersee.
Okay.
Miss Decathlon herself. Not decathlon. I can't say decathlon. Heptathlon, right? That's what she ran, right?
No, I think it was.
What is the women?
Oh,
the men do the decathlon, right?
Let me see.
Because the women only do 7. Is it still decathlon? They only do 7 events. The men do 10.
Okay, so it's called the heptathlon.
Yeah, heptathlon. Yeah, that's what I just said. Yeah. So, yeah. So that's the difference. Because the women, have been arguing to do the same amount of events that the men do, but they haven't changed it yet. This year's girl, what's her name? Angel White? Is that her name? Angela White? Is that her name? Like
Anna White or something like
Anna
that.
Anna White. She's good. She's really good. She's good. So I'm hoping that she brings home the gold, because that girl, I watched her in the trials, and she definitely was the best by far out there. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Anna Hall.
Anna Hall. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. I should remember that. That's I have an aunt with the same name, Anna Hall. I should know better than that. Yeah. So, yeah. So there you have it, guys. Who do you think your Mount Rushmore would be in as far as the greatest Olympians of all time? Let us know. Send us a note. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know what you think about any of the topics that we covered tonight. We always appreciate your time hanging out with us and listening to the show. So definitely let us know what you're thinking, and we definitely will give a comment or two in reference to what your thoughts are. So you can find us on newsandtrendz.com, our website. Of course, you can go to our Facebook page or our Instagram page. We're on both. Or you can just reach out to us. If you guys, know how to get a hold of us, you can reach out to us, and we'll definitely talk about what you have to say. Okay? Lynn, you want to add anything before we sign off?
Hey, all I can say is let's go USA. Hopefully we have some good things to talk about next Tuesday.
Yeah, no, next week, next Tuesday we'll be talking. Matter of fact, get used to it, because while the Olympics is going on, we will be talking Olympics for the next few weeks. Just letting you know, okay? All right.
And Dave, if we luck up, we may even have a special guest. Who knows?
Yeah, you never know. Matter of fact, I'm working on it. so we'll see. Okay. So with that being said, we appreciate everyone once again, and we will talk to you next week. Okay. Have a good night.
Join us next week for another edition of Newz and Trendz with your hosts, Dave and Lynn.